Part 64. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 634. There's a big show going on in the surveillance room. At that time, Jenny Nai didn't say anything clearly. Faced with Mi Hongyu's frame-up, she naturally refused to leave. But Mi Hongyu was furious and clamored to call the police. After everyone stopped him, Mi Hongyu, who was jumping up and down, pretended to be a tiger and asked Taoran to take care of the banquet. He forced people to drive Nai Jenny away, saying that if she was not thrown out, he would call the police and get Nai Jenny away. The family complained to death. Sue them for being shameless, sue them for being indecent, sue them for not even giving up the bottom line for the Mi family's money. There was an uproar. And Nai Jenny was pulled away by friends who were afraid of her suffering. Then, the entire home became Mi Hongyu's home court. He was angry, blushing, and thick-necked, and made many explicit hints, which made many people run into the room where he and Nai Jenny stayed to collect information. Taoran stared at Guang Nao for a long time, unable to tell whether Mi Hongyu was really being fooled or whether it was all due to his acting skills. All she saw was that Jenny Nai was as broken down and as at a loss as when she opened the cake that day. After watching the surveillance, Taoran motioned Mi Hongyu aside with a look. "What's going on? That's great. I have only been away for a long time, and this guy can jump up and down like this. You guess. It's your fault." "Why are you so sure?" Mi Hongyu showed a sly smile. "Everyone present felt that Jenny Nai had done something to me. You see, it was me who was sobering up after drinking too much. She came into my room, everyone knows that she has always had designs on me and was clinging to me. It's not like I've been here for a day or two. How come I'm the one doing the trick?" "You've made a mistake." Taoran he. "Old man me is an old fox, what kind of trouble can this grandson me be? On the contrary, although Jenny Nai is bad, she really regards herself as a princess. She was mostly calculating her interests against Mi Hongyu, but she didn't have to rely on him. So there was no way she could do that. If Jenny Nai had that intention, wouldn't it be more convenient to do it at the Nai family's birthday party 2 days ago? As for doing tricks in the Bao family. Therefore, Taoran didn't believe it. "Okay, I admit it." Facing Taoran's determined eyes, Mi Hongyu recognized it. "Didn't you say, 'Let me be in charge of the banquet'? I saw that she was unhappy, so I thought of getting rid of her once and for all. Then you and I wouldn't have to entertain her anymore. You said, 'Help each other.' So I did half of my purpose. It's for you." Extremely speechless. "Then do I have to thank you? My tricks and acting skills are all learned from you. Don't you think it's a little different from the one you did at Jenny Nai's birthday party that day? It's the same as starting from Nai Jenny, the same way that she can't argue, the same way that the Nai family is disgraced." Taoran took a glass of wine, so in the final analysis, it was her fault. Mi Hongyu chuckled, "Actually, I did think about it for you. Don't you want to attack Nai Ronghai? It's hard for that old fox to do anything, especially from Jenny Nai. The Nai family will lose their approval rating again this time." He scratched his head and looked at the video that had been circulated on the Star Network, and was very satisfied. At this moment, Jenny Nai has completely become the laughing stock of the entire internet. Because Mi Hongyu accused her of approaching him for money, it was inevitable that Nai Ronghai was also dragged into the situation. Many people believed that Nai Ronghai instigated his daughter to do this deed for the sake of the Mi family's money and power. They were the only two people in the room at that time. She took the initiative to enter and stay, but he rushed out of the room in disheveled clothes in front of everyone to testify against her. It was clear at a glance who was active and who was passive, and who suffered the loss. Only he and he knew exactly what happened, but she couldn't prove it. "Mi Hongyu, we are going to enter the first military academy anyway. Now that we have taken sides, We have to face each other. Why don't we do it to the extreme and strike a blow at the same time? After today, even if I join the first army without warning, no one will guess the plans of my me family. Instead, it will be more like my me family being forced to this point by the Nai family. The me family will not be criticized by others, but how the Nai family forced us will inevitably cause controversy among people. He smiled. So, our me family is the victim. The more I hate and feel unfair, the more people criticize the Nai family. Tao Ran poured a glass of wine and drank it. Confusing right and wrong, confusing right and wrong. Mi Hongyu's move was pretty good. But Tao Ran would never admit that he learned it from him. I'm not that bad. To put it bluntly, this is the benefit of a family with strong backing like theirs. If you are rich and powerful, you are not afraid of heaven and earth, and you are not afraid of offending the Nai family at all. On the contrary, the Nai family did not dare to retaliate, and even because of the power of the Mi family, they were afraid that they would have to swallow this dumb loss. Mi Hongyu. Of course, I did this personally. You were not present, so naturally you didn't know about it. If you have other plans and don't want to fall out with the Nai family, you can completely separate them. I am responsible for the work and I am responsible for it. The plan will not be affected. Don't worry. You said everything. Tao Ran could only chuckle. She walked into the room where the incident took place and shook her head again. There are really more and more actors around her. From Nai Ronghai, Mr. Mi to Mi Hongyu, they are all at the level of movie kings. Sure enough, life is like a play, it all depends on acting skills. In this room, there is a human figure on the quilt, large and small, and it looks like the shape of Mi Hongyu's fallen shape. On the bedside table next to him are the gold-rimmed glasses he wore today with a concave look and a cup of tea. But on the other side of his pillow, there was a string of pearl headdresses that Jenny Nai was wearing today. I guess it was probably left behind when Jenny Nai lay quietly next to him. Just this is enough to make people imagine a big drama in which a woman pushes a man and takes advantage of the situation. On the wall and carpet on the other side of the bed, there were traces of spilled red wine and fragments of decorative lamps, which showed how he resisted. Tao Ran glanced at Mi Hongyu's back again, and saw that a long strip of shirt was torn off. This was something he couldn't tear off by himself. All of the above, coupled with the scene where he ran away and she chased her, his conclusive and angry accusations, who else could not be led away by him? Princess Jenny, so unlucky. If she dared to wear this princess crown, she would be sprayed to death. The guests have dispersed. Tao Ran took a deep breath. Now that we have reached this point, we simply go with the flow. She called Zhou Heiya, are you happy today? I'm happy, it's so lively, so many people come to cheer me up, and I make so much money, of course I'm happy. Since you are happy, you have to give something. What? Acting. After following him for so long, Tao Ran believed in Lao Zhou. The best supporting actor must be him. 5 minutes later, Tao Ran sent the optical brain to Nai Jenny. Of course no one answered. Tao Ran smiled, he had expected it. Most. This time, she hit Dis eye directly. The moment Dis was connected, her smiling face instantly turned into a black face. Where's Jenny Nai? Why doesn't she pick up my optical brain? Let her come out, I have something to ask her. Dissy's face stiffened and she smiled sarcastically, Jenny isn't feeling well. Miss Bao, tell me if you have anything to say. Just in time, I also want to explain what happened tonight to you. Jenny is innocent. Stop it first, Tao Ran sneered, I'm not interested in what happened between her and Mi Hongyu. But I have a big debt to settle with her. With that said, Tao Ran sent a video to Dissy. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 635. The second after Dissy got the video, Her temples began to jump. Did you see it? Now, because of Jenny Nye, my dad couldn't celebrate his birthday. It's already wronged enough. But his old man still suffers like this. How embarrassed are you? Taoran's voice roared out from the light brain. Dissy quickly clicked on the video. The picture was captured by surveillance. In the video, as soon as Baofu returned home, he saw Mi Hongyu shouting to call the police, but Bob, the birthday boy today, could not persuade him and could only stop him. But Mi Hongyu was so bad-tempered that he slipped and threw Bob out. As a result, Bob flew far away and hit the stairs directly. Not only was a painting on the wall knocked to the ground, but even old Bob's forehead was bruised. Blood was flowing from his fingers covering his forehead. There were drops of blood hanging down, and the injury was obviously serious. Baofu was startled when he saw this, and yelled, Mi Hongyu, you madman, how dare you hit my dad, and rushed forward. Mi Hongyu, you don't need to call the police. I'm the one who wants to call the police now. After Baofu pressed her father's forehead, she took out the optical brain with her bloody hands and started dialing. This time, Mi Hongyu panicked. He rushed forward to stop him, but Baofu was caught off guard and dragged to the ground by him. Baofu was extremely angry and cursed angrily. Mi Hongyu, you dare to offend our father and daughter, think about the consequences, you will no longer want my minerals. Mi Hongyu was also angry. You have the nerve to accuse me. Why didn't you tell me earlier that Jenny Nye would be here today? Don't you know that I hate her? Don't you know that she is always pestering me? Do you consider me a friend? You have sold me out. What kind of business are you doing with me? Mi Hongyu threw away Baofu's phone, so don't blame me. If you want to blame Jenny Nye, I'm a victim too. With that, he strode away. Mi Hongyu, stop. It's all the Nye family's doing. Go and settle the score with Jenny Nye, I don't care. Mi Hongyu just walked away. That's it for the video. In the last second of the scene, Dissy saw Baofu's biological father lying on the ground, with blood all over his face. It was so scary. Baofu squatted next to him, obviously frightened. So, Baofu is putting Mi Hongyu's blame on Jenny? How can this work? Also, what did they just say? The Mi family is so rich, why does it ask the Bao family for help? Mineral. Does the Bao family still have mines? No wonder those two families are so close. No wonder Mi Hongyu clings to Baofu. Dare to be affectionate, but you also have a plan. The Mi boy doesn't know what he's doing. Things have become such a mess. However, since the Bao family is so capable of getting rich, and they are having trouble with the Mi family this time, if the Nye family cannot win over the Mi family, can they take this opportunity to win over the Bao family and his daughter? In just a short period of time, Dissy's mind was already spinning 1,000 times. Ms. Bao, I have to explain this to you. The culprit of everything today is that boy from the Mi family. The one who injured your father is also a boy from the Mi family. Our Jenny was wrongly accused. Taoran interrupted Dissy directly. With Mi Hongyu, I will settle the score. He can't escape the temple, but what about Nye Jenny? You said she was wronged, so she was wronged. As far as I know, the content and caliber of the photos taken by everyone on the entire Star Network are all Nye's. Jenny did something inappropriate to Mi Hongyu. If you want to get away with it now, there is no way. Let me tell you, the reason why I went out today was for your baby girl. She knew that Mi Hongyu liked me, so she was very sad. I promised to create opportunities for her and Mi Hongyu, so I left for a while. But I didn't let her take the initiative to throw herself into my arms, so I just climbed into Mi Hongyu's bed, right? What do you think my Bao family is? Who do you think I am, Baofu? Taoran in the optical brain picture was so angry that his eyes were red. For the first time, Dis was as clumsy as she was at this moment. She wanted to argue, But not only could she not get a word in, she couldn't find an entry point. What happened today was just yellow mud falling off my crotch. If it wasn't shit, no one would believe it. Miss Bao, calm down. Even if my Jenny has a crush on me Hongyu, she will never climb into his bed. Okay, you. Tao Ran walked directly into the room with the optical brain. Please open your eyes and take a good look. This is the room where the two of them were alone. Did you see that pearl hair accessory? Is it Jenny Nai's? Didn't go to bed, are you sure? It doesn't matter if you don't admit it. There is always a way. I'm very angry now. My father was even more aggrieved. Our Bao family is not a famous family, but we can't stand it. Your Bao family and me family's trivial matters should not cause our family to lose both our wives and our troops. The birthday party didn't happen, my dad was hurt and angry, and it caused so much loss to our family. Since neither your family nor the me family admit that they are at fault, I can only call the police. At that time, let the police collect all the surveillance cameras to see who entered whose room, who plotted against whom, and let the police check whose hair and skin tissue were on the bed. Let the police find witnesses and evidence to get to the bottom of it. But let's start with the ugly talk. I won't give anyone face when the time comes. I will cooperate with the investigation and tell the truth. I don't care who is the me family or your Nai family, but I want a solution. So don't even think about escaping. Apologize, admit your mistake publicly, and make compensation. Compensation for economic losses and mental losses, you just wait for me. Dissy kept saying no, but she saw Baofu's voice coming in from the screen. Someone called her again. It's me Hongyu. I'm sorry, Xiaofu. I thought about it and realized that I was impulsive just now. I apologize to you, but tonight's incident is still because of Jenny Nai. Dissy only heard the sentence, and then her communication was closed by Baofu on the other side. Dis was anxious. The boy from the me family is flexible, and he didn't forget to give the Nai family eye drops. That Baofu was obviously very angry. He was going to be fooled by a boy from the me family, it was very troublesome. Whether she calls the police or discloses the surveillance, her daughter's hair accessories, her agreement with her daughter, won't her daughter's unfounded crime be confirmed by then? It's even harder to explain. The impact on her daughter's reputation does not only affect Zhonglan. There is also the election of the husband and the new king of the sun, which may all be affected. In addition, there is the reputation of her Di family. Her Dis face. If my daughter is uneducated, how will she meet people in the future? Dissy was very anxious and hurriedly called Baofu. But it took 5 minutes of calling before she was connected. Before she could speak, Baofu's impatient voice came from the other side. Mi Hongyu has apologized to me and my dad, and is willing to bear part of the compensation. What did Jenny Nai say? Did she come out to apologize? I'm in a bad mood right now. I don't want to hear the explanation, just the result. Xiao Bao, it's like this. Aunt Nai has already asked the housekeeper to rush to your house. When she arrives, we should apologize and compensate. Don't be impulsive first and give us some time. Okay. Dissy must deal with Baofu, at least completely give up the idea of calling the police, confirm how much surveillance Baofu has, get back her daughter's hair accessories, and shut up Baofu. Of course, the best thing is to have Baofu side with the Nai family. Therefore, it must be coaxed well. Dissy hurriedly asked the housekeeper to take several things that were treasured at home and hurried to Bao's house. At this time, Tao Ran was telling Mi Hongyu to get out of here, and he was telling Zhou Heiya, who had a fake injury, to quickly bandage his head so that no one would see the flaw. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 636. Dissy was taken advantage of inadvertently. The Nai family came to apologize and explain in various ways. In order to prevent Baofu from calling the police or going to other places to talk nonsense, in order to get surveillance cameras and headgear, in order to calm Baofu's anger and get closer to her, the Nai family could only be angry. Dissy really wanted her daughter to explain herself, but Jenny Nai, who had never been wronged, was so devastated that she hid in her room and couldn't escape. Dissy was worried that it would be inconvenient for her daughter to go out, but just asking the housekeeper to go to Bao's house didn't seem sincere enough. In the end, Dissy could only let her youngest son Nising go with the housekeeper. Nising had just entered high school and was very immature. As soon as he entered Bao's house and saw the mess, he was already very upset. And Tao Ran's aggressive words made him break into a cold sweat and feel at a loss. Tao Ran, if you want to explain, you don't need to tell me. You can tell it online. I just want to apologize and compensate. But this matter really has nothing to do with my family, it's all me Hongyu. Then you go to the Mi family to settle the score. I am not your peacemaker. I am very annoyed now, my father is very sad, and I just want to call the police to solve the problem. You should understand that it is you who have a guilty conscience now, and it is you who are asking for help from me. Tao Ran looked fierce. My father still needs to rest, I only give you 5 minutes. Tao Ran looked strong from head to toe. The Nai family didn't want this matter to escalate further, so they had no choice. After seeing the Mi family send a large number of gifts and a check for 5 million star coins, in the end, the Nai family had no choice but to bite the bullet and give out 5 million star coins in compensation. Zhou Heiya, who was lying on the bed moaning and groaning, received a box of high-end nutritional supplements and special medicinal wine. Dissy said a lot of good things in Guang's head, saying that she would bring her daughter to visit the house in person the day after tomorrow. At that time, the Nai family would make arrangements to help Mr. Bob hold another banquet, Barat, Bala. Tao Ran just calmed down. The day after tomorrow? Good day. She will go to military school the day after tomorrow. When the time comes, if Lao Zhou is arranged to travel, all that will be left for the Nai family and her daughter is a closed door. The Nai family left, and Tao Ran earned more than tens of millions of star coins. If Mi Hongyu teases her, she won't let it go. So Tao Ran forced Mi Hongyu to act in a scene an hour ago. And since he smashed so many things in his house, he deserves compensation. 5 million is nothing more than a drop of rain to the prince. He didn't care, and Tao Ran wouldn't be polite either. Tao Ran donated 5 million of them directly, and gave all the remaining star coins to Zhou Heiya. That guy has been saving a lot lately, and Tao Ran feels relieved. Zhou Heiya was very excited. He patted his chest and said that in the future, the more supporting roles the better, and he could play as many scenes a day as he wanted. Tao Ran is about to report to the first military academy, and it will be impossible to entertain Dis and the others from now on. So she thought about it and realized that Mi Hongyu had a good idea. Since it was about to end, why not just seize the last chance and kill him again? This is how the scene just happened. Therefore, Zhou Heiya's birthday party was quite cost-effective. Although Dissy prevented Tao Ran from escalating the situation, the negative consequences of this incident have already begun to appear. Nai Jenny's show of affection towards Mi Hongyu has been going on for more than a day or two, and many people know about it. And Mi Hongyu was not interested in Nai Jenny at all, and the news that embarrassed Nai Jenny every time had already spread, so more and more people came out to confirm the credibility of what happened last night. With the help of thoughtful people, Nai Ronghai, in order to bind the Mi family's support, ordered his daughter to forcefully perform a honey trap on the Mi family's direct grandson, which made both Nai Ronghai and Nai Jenny embarrassed. Nai Jenny became a joke in the circle of high-class socialites. The princess fell from the altar overnight. For the first time, Nai Ronghai made the people begin to doubt that this general who had always been upright in his life had a sanctimonious side. Recently, Nai Ronghai has been in negative situations repeatedly in just half a month, from the rave party, the Vincent incident, the cake photos, to the Jenny Nai incident. One incident is all, but who can withstand this repeated cycle? The eventful addition? As a result, his poll approval ratings are also falling at a speed visible to the naked eye. The huge lead between the previous and second place gradually disappeared, and the decline reached its peak 2 days later when Mi Hongyu was specially approved to enter the first military academy with a high profile. Central Star's celebrity circle was in an uproar. The grandson of the Mi family, is this a public position? If he stands with the First Army, doesn't he represent the Mi family's attitude? The Mi family, which has not taken any action for many years, has finally come to light. So sudden. If candidate Shi Mo wins the support of the Mi family, his future path may be completely different. Moreover, the Mi family took this step just after the Nai Jenny incident broke out, which is unavoidable to make people think wildly. Who doesn't know that the direct grandson of the Mi family likes to idle around and do mischief the most? He doesn't even want to join his own family group, so how could he suddenly enter the military academy? I'm afraid, the Nai family really pissed off this kid and the Mi family. As a result, people became more curious about what happened that night. I wonder what shameful thing Jenny Nai did to that boy from the Mi family. For a time, there were more speculations. After being blocked by the media once, Mr. Mi bluntly confirmed that his grandson had entered the first military academy, and said that the Mi family would spend tens of millions of star coins to support the sponsorship of the first military academy, and this was only the first fund. The Mi family's open and honest stance greatly increased Shi Mo's support rate. Some celebrities who were close friends with the Mi family also began to pay attention to Shi Mo. The wind has changed somewhat. Shi Mo suddenly became a new focus of public attention. His approval ratings began to rise steadily. At this time, Nai Ronghai, whose candidate ranking in the polls had dropped to second place, was at the forefront of the storm and did not dare to do anything except keep a low profile. Jenny Nai couldn't stand the gossip and didn't even dare to go to school. Dissy and Nai Ronghai were both furious. Especially after they heard that Bao Fu also entered the first military academy with Mi Hongyu. The money they spent to win over the Bao family was a trivial matter, but the point was that the threat from the First Army had doubled again. Nai Ronghai, who was unhappy with his career and was embarrassed by his daughter, took all his anger out on his family. He dislikes his wife and daughter. He worked hard to support the mother and daughter, but what about them? He can't handle that bastard Mi Hongyu, and he can't even win over a little girl like Bao Fu. He's a waste. Let's just talk about that Bao Fu. He still hasn't figured out his origins, but he has already spent millions of star coins on him. Who do they think he is? He is just a wage earner from the league. He is not an old man from the Mi family who has a lot of money. Even if he gets some benefits, he has to be secretive and try his best to cover it up. Is it easy for him to make some money? Why are this prodigal mother and daughter so useless? Nai Ronghai was angry, wouldn't this? How dare he get angry? The whole world can despise me, but you can't do it? What the hell are you? You don't know how to count yourself? You are eating from the pot and looking at the garbage in the bowl. Can you get to where you are without the support of my Di family? You have not been able to do it until now. You should be on the front line. Don't forget that we haven't settled that woman's debt yet. Here in Dis, everything today is all because of Nai Ronghai. If his daughter hadn't wanted to help him win over Mi Hongyu, how could she have been bitten back? The couple complained about each other and quarreled 8 times a day. When Dissy got angry, she simply took Jenny Nai on an alien trip. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 637. It was revealed that Dissy and her daughter secretly went to the Di family's Seaview villa on an alien planet. Some media revealed that Dis was dissatisfied with Nai Ronghai's use and instigation of her daughter, and angrily returned to her parents' villa. She has officially separated from Nai Ronghai, and will start a divorce lawsuit soon. Informed sources revealed that Nai Jenny's incident was just the trigger. In fact, Nai Ronghai's private life was chaotic abroad, and it was suspected that he had more than one illegitimate child. Overnight, so many rumors popped up out of nowhere, and it seemed like everyone was an eyewitness and they were telling the truth. Despite all the talk, some people actually believe that Nai Ronghai has more mistresses than he can count on one hand. Whenever he leaves Central Star for business, he often secretly meets with his lover. Because of these rumors, Nai Ronghai's support rate has directly decreased. Another drop. But when there are too many rumors, it becomes difficult to investigate. Nai Ronghai could only ask Dissy to come back quickly and explain to the public. However, Dis was deeply resentful. She simply made a request: if you want me to go back, you must first deal with the old sweetheart you hid. If you want to live or die, you must see the corpse. Otherwise, I won't go back. You are making trouble unreasonably. In fact, Nai Ronghai hadn't seen Tang Yu for a long time. After the last photo, he had always wanted to find that woman, but with so many things going on recently, he always felt like someone was watching him from the dark. How could he dare to act rashly? For a while, all he could do was to clarify and threaten to conduct a thorough investigation so that the rumor mongers would be punished by law. Tao Ran secretly did little tricks to ruin Nai Ronghai's reputation. Nai Ronghai had many political opponents, and with help from the Mi family to cover up the aftermath, she became more and more skillful in taking action. In order to ensure Tang Yu's safety, Tao Ran must forcefully suppress Nai Ronghai before finding a way to find her. Tao Ran finally entered the first military academy and parachuted into the first class with Mi Hongyu. I learned from Principal Kona that Class 1 is a top class. The people in this class are subject to strict political scrutiny. Not only are they well established, but almost all of them are descendants of the original First Army. Their qualifications are also the best in the entire first grade, and the average physical and mental levels of the class are also A level. They will be the backbone and hope of the First Army in the future. Due to the airborne landing and Kona's care, Tao Ran was prepared, thinking that he would be slightly marginalized and made things difficult for him. But she thought too much. Luke, the monitor of this class, was Mi Hongyu's playmate when he wore crotchless pants. With his care, no one dares to stir up trouble. So Tao Ran was exposed. She joined the class with a relaxed and happy mood. She was quite satisfied originally. But after half a day, she discovered that as the only girl in the class, she was troubled. She looked like a luminous body wherever she went, attracting unnecessary attention from many male classmates. During lunch, there were 3 apples, 2 chocolates, and a handful of candies on her table. From time to time, male classmates would come to take care of her. Instructor Wu of their class also noticed that the atmosphere was not right and strongly protested to Principal Kona to transfer her. Kona refused. Instructor Wu was very angry and looked at her with an unusual look. Tao Ran decided to solve this problem by himself. She wanted everyone to stop thinking about her. Just like in Kot Star, everyone is willing to call her sister. When he caught a glimpse of Mi Hongyu, who was hooking up with Luke and could almost run around the school because he donated a huge sum of money, Tao Ran thought, what if she also takes over the position of monitor? Then she has the right to suppress anyone who dares to have inappropriate thoughts about her in the future? If anyone disobeys her, she will give her little shoes to wear. In the afternoon, there was a simple, rough, and direct training session. Let's run 20 kilometers with weight first, Instructor Wu gave a goal. 20 kilometers, Mi Hongyu blurted out. Although he is good at running, he hates running. Still carrying weight? This reminded him of the days when he had been running around the world and couldn't bear to look back. Have any opinions? Instructor Wu stood in front of him, his eagle eyes staring at him. No comment. Very good. Since the newcomers have no objections, obviously the amount is not enough. Then, let's add 30 kilometers of weight-bearing running. Mi Hongyu was stunned. Is this what people say? He secretly glanced at Tao Ran, but saw that Tao Ran looked calm and didn't react at all. Mi Hongyu thought that her physique was a little lower than his own, so he just used her as a shield. Return to the instructor. What I mean is that there is a girl in the class who needs to be taken care of. 30 kilometers is too much and I'm afraid she won't be able to bear it. Instructor Wu became even more unhappy when he heard that someone was speaking for Baofu again. Can you run 30 kilometers? Instructor Wu asked Tao Ran. Able. Is it okay to carry 8 kilograms? Can. Very good. You should learn from the new female soldiers. Everyone, increase the weight to 10 kilograms. Everyone gasped in unison. Are you kidding? Usually physical training is either 20 kilometers and 10 kilograms, or 30 kilometers and 8 kilograms. What kind of wind is this today? Luke got the signal from his brothers and raised his hand to express that he had something to say. Like him, Tao Ran also raised his hand. Instructor Wu smiled when he saw this. The old principal of Kono was so confused that he didn't let the female soldier get out. He could only use his own method. Not allowed to drive her away? Then he would make it impossible for her to stay alone. Lo and behold, that's a step back. Instructor Wu motioned to Tao Ran to speak. Reporting to the instructor, since I have entered the first grade class of the first military academy, I am a member of this class. Everyone here is a classmate who brings glory to the school. I feel that there should be no distinction between male soldiers and female soldiers. Veterans and new recruits. Everyone should be treated equally. Everyone should advance and retreat together, and share joys and sorrows. So the instructor doesn't have to think about me. Even if it is 50 kilometers at a stretch and a load of 15 kilograms, as long as the instructor gives the order, we should try our best to achieve it. This time, the one who was stunned became Instructor Wu. Is this female soldier so arrogant? Are you bragging about not drafting? Since she is so arrogant, then he will satisfy her and let her fulfill the flag she has set. Classmate Baofu said it very well. From now on, there will be no distinction between male and female soldiers and new and veteran soldiers. We will treat them equally and advance and retreat together. Instructor Wu strode to the starting line. Everyone, listen up. 50 kilometers. Run with 15 kilograms of weight. Listen to my whistle and start immediately. The last 5 who finish the race will run another 10 kilometers. As soon as this order came out, even Luke and the others almost knelt down. If you can complete this amount of training in one go, it already depends on your condition. Why is there a penalty? They were still hesitating whether to negotiate with Instructor Wu, but as soon as the whistle sounded, a figure rushed out with a 15-kilogram backpack. Looking at the female classmate running at the front, everyone felt a little chilly. This must not be a normal, ordinary woman within the scope of their knowledge. Too cruel. Many people were impressed by this. It seemed that the reason why they received this treat was because of this female classmate who had already run the first half lap and was still light on her feet. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 638. When Instructor Wu began to scold the remaining students for being lazy and incompetent, the impression scores of the male students on Baofu had plummeted. When Tao Ran was running the 5th lap and started to catch up with some students who had fallen behind in the 4th lap, some students felt that she was too expressive. When Tao Ran was already running the 10th lap and overtook most of the classmates who were still on the previous lap, Instructor Wu kept scolding him on the sidelines. He felt ashamed. Although he didn't mention the freshmen and old students, boys and girls, he really felt embarrassed when the new girl crushed all the boys in the class. Hurry up! The food is already in the dog's belly. How can all the soft-legged crabs go to the battlefield? Don't you all want to chase the girl? Now the girl is in front of you, why can't you catch up? Isn't it embarrassing for you to be chased backwards? Isn't your physique the best in the school? Is this the level? S. A+? Is this it? If I were you, if I couldn't catch up with that girl, I would sleep in the toilet from now on. Mi Hongyu gritted his molars and asked Luke, sleeping in the toilet? What do you mean? Luke, because the strength is so stinky, and because it matches shit better. Nah, this instructor is very good at scolding. By the way, didn't the woman you brought have an A-level physique? Why is she so virtuous? Why doesn't she listen to you? Luke complained. Mi Hongyu said after a second, I didn't bring her here after all, he was the one who took advantage of her and entered the military school. In fact, Mi Hongyu didn't know much about Taoran's true strength. He knew that her mental strength was high, and he also knew that she knew ancient martial arts, but now running with a heavy load was purely based on physical strength. She was so strong, which really surprised him. She is a monster, and I have no ability to accept her as a woman. But I have a feeling that we will soon become her men. Luke suddenly choked on his own saliva. Does she have such a big appetite? Can she withstand the 58 men in the class? You're overthinking it? What I mean is, I'm afraid we will soon become her little brothers. From now on, we will be led by the nose. Can't you? I hope so, Mi Hongyu breathed out. What a shame. So tired. Damn woman. Mi Hongyu also had a hunch that he might be fooled by the old man this time. He originally planned to stay in the military academy for a few years, but he had only been here for a long time, and he already regretted it. I'm afraid it's not easy to get along in this military academy. If you don't do well, you might as well join a group. They looked at Baofu, who was not far away. Her steps were still light and her breath was steady. Compared to the heavy steps and disordered breathing of the rest of them, she looked like a human being. Not personally, at this moment, the whole class of gay men has the same thoughts. What the hell? Before they knew it, many of the young men's charming thoughts had long since disappeared. I'm afraid they won't be able to tolerate this sister. Taoran has already run 20 laps of this 1-kilometer playground. Where does this go for her? Starting from Yutong's world, whether in various small worlds or her own real world, she has never stopped practicing. And long-distance running is even more basic. Even her real body has to run up and down the mountain at least twice every day, not to mention the body that has been practicing martial arts for more than half a year. In Kit's mining area, was there a day when she didn't carry tools over mountains and ridges? After being nourished by spiritual energy, the spiritual energy can automatically transform into physical strength. Running with a heavy load for just tens of kilometers is really nothing. Instructor Wu held the stopwatch in his hand and was silent for several minutes. Baofu's current time of 20 kilometers is an excellent result in the school's long-distance running. But she still carries 15 kilograms. If you calculate it that way, he is definitely in the top 10 among the 4 grades in the school. At this moment, Instructor Wu forgot about his previous dissatisfaction with Baofu, and instead passed all his unhappiness onto those boys. 59 grown men were all outclassed by a female classmate. Really disappointing. It's not that he has any opinions on women, but he clearly knows that this girl's physique is only A. That's the average level in the class. So, Instructor Wu walked to the sidelines and cursed again, and kicked Luke, who was running towards him. Are you worthy of your physique? Are you worthy of your position as monitor? Is this how you set an example for your classmates? Luke was knocked upside down by this kick. He had a grimace on his face, he had really run hard. He's already on his 20th lap. He's left everyone else behind, okay. Instructor Wu's voice came from behind, if you don't finish first, you'll have to run another 20 kilometers later. Tao Ran, who had been silent until now, suddenly said, Monitor, hurry up and work harder. If you can't catch up with me, you won't be able to convince me anymore. If you can't beat me, why not give up your position as monitor, give me. Luke's face turned red instantly. Pooh. This stinky newcomer actually made fun of him. He had to keep his position as squad leader, and he didn't want to be punished for 20 laps. Luke, who was instantly stimulated, began to speed up. Tao Ran also accelerated slightly, and while running all over the field, he also started shouting, everyone, try hard. Whoever has a higher physical level than me and runs slower than me will have to call me sister. There was a moment of silence on the playground. Instructor, what do you think of my suggestion? Tao ran to Instructor Wu's side. Very good. Classmate Bao Fu's suggestion is very good. Anyone whose physical level is higher than A and can't beat classmate Bao Fu will be called sister. This instructor will bear witness, of course he agreed. The stopwatch is in his hand. As soon as Bao Fu made the suggestion, everyone's speed in this lap was obviously improved compared to the previous lap. Like me, Hongyu and others, they raised it for at least 10 seconds. And I'm afraid they themselves don't know that after being stimulated, their speed in the first 18 laps is already the speed they usually carry with only 8 kilograms. This is the purpose and benefit of setting a leader. Challenging yourself is the only way to train, right? What's more, giving in front of the girl they met on the first day challenged their self-esteem, and made them have to treat her with a 120% attitude just to get a breath. It's just, Instructor Wu could tell from Bao Fu's energetic voice that the girl who had already run halfway had obviously not exercised enough. And he heard that her physical fitness was tested by Principal Kona himself, and he took the test twice, and both were A's. This is simply a miracle. Therefore, this is a potential stock. I thought that Mi Hongyu, who landed in the air, was a piece of material, but I didn't expect that the partner was a treasure. Instructor Wu's previous unhappiness has gradually been replaced by joy. When he went to Kona to retreat at noon, the old man patted his shoulder and rejected him meaningfully. This was probably the purpose, right? Thank you everyone for your monthly votes. Thanks to Qinglian for resetting Lai Huo Wivua, Book Friend Tale number 22576, Wildfire Peach Blossom, and a large number of Korean, I can't type, babies in the bookstore for their rewards. Compare your feelings. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 639. Luke ran with concentration. 30 laps, 35 laps, 40 laps, 45 laps, he gritted his teeth and chased. But he didn't know why. No matter how much he increased his speed, he and Bao Fu in front always maintained a distance of about 200 or 300 meters. The prediction that he could achieve his goal with hard work prompted him to grit his teeth and persevere. Luke felt even more depressed when he saw that the people in front of him could still turn around from time to time. He was very dissatisfied with Bao Fu. He sensed a provocation, so he decided to take it by surprise. With just 5 laps left, he slowed down. Sure enough, the person in front slowed down just like him. Luke planned to use the next 4.5 laps to adjust his breath hard, and then use his S-level physical strength to suddenly accelerate at the last moment. His explosive power ranks first in his grade, and his 100-meter sprint is at the Flying Master level. Give him half a lap and he will definitely be able to overtake. He wants to defeat this arrogant guy. Then, There was a huge discrepancy between the plan and reality. The guy in front seemed to have guessed his plan and suddenly started accelerating with 1.5 laps left. Luke felt bad and hurriedly exploded, but there was no room for him to show off. By the time he was gritting his teeth, holding on to his breath and sprinting with all his strength to cross the finish line, Baofu was already standing next to the instructor and talking. Luke collapsed at the finish line. For the first time, he felt the sun was so dazzling that he didn't want to open his eyes. That woman is indeed not a human being. After running 50 kilometers with a heavy load, my face was just a little red, my hair was a little wet, and I was breathing a little out of breath. She still had the energy to talk nonsense with the instructor, but he was already dying. Too cruel. He instantly understood that Mi Hongyu had said she was a monster before. That's right. This woman is not only a monster, she is a pervert. As Instructor Wu looked at the results of the students who crossed the finish line one by one, he couldn't help but start to wonder, was he too tolerant to the students in the past? There is not much room for improvement for everyone. Look, although these guys were all wailing when they reached the finish line, their results after being stimulated, were almost the best this semester. This is my role, Taoran was still recommending himself. Everyone's potential is huge and unlimited. With me here, I will definitely make every student cheer up, active, and excited. Let the first military academy go one step further and become a veritable number one. It was difficult for Instructor Wu not to be tempted. This classmate Baofu is obviously very good at it. If it could improve his performance as much as it did today, he would naturally be willing to give it a try. You want to be the monitor. I want to be the Rookie King, and I want to lead the class to win first place in this Rookie King's team demonstration. Ambitious, he admired. But, apart from running, what else are you good at? As long as there is a need, I will do my best. Very good. Instructor Wu really wanted to give her a chance, but before that, he was more curious about her true strength. I see you are not very tired from running. Can you still run? Able. Then it's up to you to take Luke and run another 20 kilometers in 15 minutes, and supervise the last 10 in the weight-bearing race to run another 10 kilometers. Yes. As long as it's a school, it's the same. Whether it is elementary school, high school, or military academy, there is always a kind of person. They are the lackeys of the teacher in the eyes of ordinary students, but they are the best assistants and students in the eyes of the teacher. It only took Taoran such a long-distance race to turn himself into the kind of person that all the students in the class hate the most and can't get rid of. She simply and crudely cut off the charming thoughts of young people who had nowhere to put them. Not only would everyone not be happy to accept her like this, they would also have to stay away from her. Everyone regarded her as a monster. And what Taoran wanted was this effect. There are still 3 things to do before a new official takes office. She is not Mi Hongyu, who is rich and powerful and is supported wherever she goes. If she doesn't establish her authority and gain momentum, just because she is a woman and new here, she may cause a lot of trouble in the future. Today, she let them bug her. Tomorrow, she will make them afraid of her. Taoran led 11 people to impose additional punishments, and everyone was stunned. After another 20 kilometers, Luke fell to the ground almost like a dead dog. And Taoran finally breathed. No one dared to say anything. Because Instructor Wu, who was holding a stopwatch, was very happy. Sure enough, only with competition can we make progress. Luke's grades were pretty good. And Baofu was the best among the students he had ever taught. He couldn't wait to know how much potential this classmate Baofu had. It's late. Instructor Wu named 34 people. These were the people who had a higher physical level than Baofu just now, but still lost to her. If they are willing to admit defeat, they have to line up one by one to be called sister. Taoran stood up straight and calmly, waiting for them to come up one by one, to say hello. Luke was naturally the first one, and Mi Hongyu patted him on the shoulder. What did you say? Sooner or later he will become a younger brother. I just didn't expect it to be so fast. This is only the first day. Luke, sister. His voice is like a mosquito. Tao Ran, I can't hear you. His self-esteem was repeatedly crushed, and he couldn't say anything. At this time, Tao Ran showed her magnanimity. She looked at Mi Hongyu, who was shaking his head silently. Xiaomi, come on, friend. Show us how you behave. The main purpose of their relationship is not to help each other. Mi Hongyu's face trembled. Damn. He has a bad word that can only be said in the bottom of my heart. It's a trap, it's such a trap. Just when she shouted out the words Xiaomi and friend with a smile, Mi Hongyu felt that he had somehow shared half of his firepower for her. Damn it, if she shows off her power in front of her in the future, won't he have to help her make amends behind her back? After all, everyone believed that she was introduced to the military academy by herself. It's not right. Doesn't that mean that she was the one who entered the military school and acted recklessly, while she nodded and bowed and was cautious? It's the other way around. He has a lifelong reputation as the little bully of the Mi family. Tao Ran, by the way, when calling people, remember to introduce yourself. I don't even know them. Hurry up, Instructor Wu shouted. Mi Hongyu had no choice but to call her sister and tell him his name. Sure enough, he got dozens of pairs of eye rolls, either overtly or covertly. Then, like a group of defeated roosters, the 34 people stepped forward one by one. Tao Ran was very satisfied. Just like incurred, she has recruited a group of younger brothers. After finishing, Instructor Wu began to lecture. Luke. What do you think of Mr. Baofu's first training performance? Very good. Since you think it's good too, that's fine. Classmate Baofu thinks she is qualified for your position as monitor, so she wants to challenge your position as monitor. Luke suddenly felt tired. And he vaguely heard Mi Hongyu say condolences from behind him. Instructor, in view of Baofu's excellent performance, I plan to give her this opportunity. Tomorrow, in order for our team to make better progress, I plan to let Luke and Baofu compete in many aspects. The winner is the monitor of our first grade class. So Luke and Baofu, you two have a good rest tonight and prepare for tomorrow's competition. Can you imagine? I continued typing, and fell asleep while typing. Epsilon equals Omicron asterisk. Wash your face, start over, and finally finish. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 640. Tao Ran likes military school very much. Here, she can study more purely and devotedly. She knew that helping Tang Zhu take revenge was too urgent. There is a big gap between her and Nai Ronghai now, both physically and mentally. She must improve. Relying on formal teaching in the military academy to make progress is not only the fastest way, but also the best way to get close to and understand the abilities of the Nai family and his son. Study at public expense, eat and drink at public expense, make progress at public expense, and have access to the most advanced weapons. How beautiful. Life is not bad either. Because she is the only girl in the class, she has a single dormitory, and even bed checks cannot find her here. In the dormitory, she can do whatever she wants. In the evening, she used the spirit stones to set up a spirit gathering array and started practicing. The hundreds of kilograms of spiritual stones brought out are all green and the best, carefully selected, and each piece can be used for a long time. Therefore, there are more than 80% of the 100 kilograms of spiritual stone left, and it will definitely be fine for a year. Probably because he had the experience of sharing will and woe and being dependent on each other in life and death, Tao Ran is now able to slightly communicate with the wood spirit in his consciousness from time to time while practicing. In the past 6 months, under the nourishment of spiritual energy, the little guy has finally recovered a bit, and has basically returned to the way he was when he came out of the last world. Occasionally, the shape of the small leaves will be revealed. That night, Taoran practiced for 2 hours. Just as he was about to communicate with the wood spirit, he heard a sharp whistle. "Class 1, meet on the playground," came the instructor's angry voice. Looking at the time, it was now 3:30 in the middle of the night. Tisk. Not only did she want to intimidate others, but it seemed that the instructor also wanted to do so. Taoran put on his clothes and ran outside. She didn't sleep all night, which was too much trouble. Plus she's fast, so she's the first one to get to the playground. The remaining people arrived one after another 15 seconds later. Instructor Wu was even more satisfied with Taoran. How troublesome a woman is, you can tell by looking at his girlfriend and mother. They can still wait for half an hour before going out. He thought it would take at least 3 minutes for Baofu, who had thin skin and tender flesh, to arrive. Unexpectedly, she only took 1 minute and 50 seconds, faster than the cub he had trained for half a year. He was both happy and unhappy at the same time. So, the unlucky Luke got another kick from him. What to do? Ever since Baofu arrived, the more he looked at Luke, the more useless he looked at him. Looking at it, it's true. Each of his male soldiers had a bitter look on his face, with dark circles under his eyes that were no better than those of a panda. They had chicken coops under their hats, their collars were crooked, their belts were slanted, they were sleepy and listless, and their clothes were buttoned at the wrong angle. Compared to Baofu, who was neat and tidy, energetic, and had bright eyes, he was like a bunch of crooked melons and cracked jujubes. Hey, he never expected that in just one day, he would find female soldiers pleasing to the eye. In the second category of the squad leaders competition, Baofu wins. Instructor Wu opened the whiteboard behind him. He has drawn up a form. It was he who designed the squad leader competition. Yesterday's long-distance race was the first event, and Baofu won. The second item is this midnight emergency. He originally thought that this item was a score question for Luke, but apparently, Luke, who was his favorite student a day ago, couldn't even get the score. No comparison, no harm. Thinking of this, he couldn't help but kick Luke again. So shameless. Something that doesn't live up to expectations. Luke's eyes were a little red, and at this moment, Mi Hongyu's words of sorrow sounded in his ears again. He glanced at Baofu with resentment. That woman was like a plague. The third item in the squad leader competition, leading the team in training. Instructor Wu took a step forward. Luke, Baofu comes out. The two of them each took a forward step. This item is about your ability to lead a team. It just so happens that Wang Yi is on sick leave, so the two of you will lead 28 people each. Instructor Wu pointed to the steep hilltop opposite. There is a clock-in machine under the red plum tree on the top of the mountain. After everyone completes their fingerprint clock-in, whichever team comes back to me first will win. The captain will get 1 point. Instructor Wu gave Luke a meaningful look. This, in the final analysis, is still a matter of points. Firstly, Baofu was not familiar with the team members, secondly, he was not familiar with the terrain, and thirdly, he was not necessarily good at rock climbing. In this case, you have the right time, place, and people. If you still can't win, you can drop out of school and switch to selling tofu. Instructor Wu snorted at Luke. Selling tofu pudding? Mi Hongyu realized it after his mind turned around. Selling tofu brains, you can kill yourself with tofu every day. The instructor is so funny. As soon as Luke heard the rules, he was instantly full of energy. He will definitely not fail this mission. That Baofu is new here, he knows nothing. Not only does she not know the strength of her brothers, she has also offended them. After returning home last night, her brothers had a lot of opinions about her, and everyone expressed their full support for her to keep her position as squad leader. So Baofu will definitely lose. Do you have any more questions? Ask them all in one go now. How to determine the team? The two squad leader candidates select their own team members. Taoran's side. Monitor Lu has already lost 2 rounds. Since you are bound to win this round, you can simply make the best use of the right time, place, and people. Squad leader Lu, you choose first, and I will take care of the rest. Luke stared. What does this mean? She said it as if she was cheating on her in this game and she was the one who allowed herself to win. After what she said, even if he won, it would not be glorious enough. Don't. Luke, classmate Bao should choose first. You are at a disadvantage and are not familiar with your classmates. It is only fair that you choose first. Taoran, are you sure? Yes. But it doesn't matter if you choose. You pick 28 people, and the remaining classmates will be mine. Then I'm welcome. That's what he wanted. Taoran turned around and faced everyone. 57 people, except Luke and Mi Hongyu who were watching the show, all avoided her. Taoran, I'm not familiar with you, so I can only choose blindly. Luke had a slight smile on his face. But he never expected Taoran's next sentence. They say things get done easily with acquaintances, so I would like to ask the 33 classmates who called me sister yesterday to take a step forward. Luke's face suddenly froze. This woman is so cunning. Taoran glanced at him. You're the one who's stupid. You asked me to choose first, who is to blame? She really didn't know the true level of so many people present, but yesterday, all those who called her sister had higher physical values than her, but lost to her. In other words, the people who called her sister yesterday were the ones with the best physiques in this class. Since it was automatically screened yesterday, why is she being polite? If you capture it first, the opponent's advantage will be immediately halved. So all she had to do was eliminate 5 from the 33 people. This is still a good choice. What she eliminated were the people who looked most familiar to her and who had been around Luke from yesterday to now. This is not fair, someone shouted. Taoran, just now, squad leader Lu said that it would be fair to let me choose first. Why would it be unfair if I chose? Man, isn't it embarrassing for me to go back on my promise? But you are cheating. I didn't break the rules. Besides, you have to use your brain when you are a squad leader. Otherwise, how can you lead the team to victory in the upcoming military academy competition, right, instructor? Taoran spread his hands again without waiting for the instructor to answer. Of course, if squad leader Lu is afraid of losing, he can find a reason to admit defeat now. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 641. What can Luke do? He was furious. If you don't play, you just can't afford to lose. To play is to lose at the starting point. He could only comfort himself that even if he was incapable of fighting, he would still have the right time, place, and people, so he couldn't lose. He was just a little frustrated. Look, at this moment, Instructor Wu was giving Baofu an appreciative look, and said something strangely, saying that what he wanted was a brave and resourceful squad leader. Who are you scolding? Luke glanced away. Fortunately, the people's support was with him. Even the brothers who were chosen by Baofu all gave him reassuring looks. Luke felt relieved. Yes, that female monster is so perverted. If she becomes the squad leader, not only will the brothers have to suffer, but they will also be laughed to death by other classes. 58 male classmates were being chased around by a female classmate. What an ugly scene. Brothers are all understanding people, so they naturally know what to do. The two teams will go up the mountain from the east and west mountain roads and go down the mountain from the other mountain road, so the journey is the same. When choosing a side, Taoran and the others chose the west side of the mountain. The whistle blows and the game begins. Because they were still under instructor Wu's nose, the 28 people in Taoran's team were all very well behaved. The team was neatly organized and running quickly towards the mountain road to the west. Just after running 100 meters, Taoran came to the middle of the team. Don't think I don't know what you are thinking. We have to turn 300 meters ahead and enter the instructor's blind spot. Are you just going to slow down and hold us back? I suggest you think about it. I have a bad temper, but I always treat my family members well. If you help me win this game, I will give each of you a reward of 10,000 star coins. As soon as these words came out, many students were filled with excitement. The light looked over. 10,000 star coins, so much. Really? Of course. If you win this round, my friend Xiaomi will settle the settlement for you. Why me? Mi Hongyu jumped out. 270,000 star coins is a small thing, so everyone misunderstood that he and this female devil were in cahoots. Moreover, he doesn't want Baofu to be the squad leader, okay? Because, our consistent purpose is to help each other, isn't it? I don't. You know that I'm going to see your grandpa this Sunday, right? You know that your grandpa wants something from me, right? You know that your grandpa asked me to monitor you, right? Mi Hongyu bared his teeth, and after 3 seconds he managed to say, "You're cruel." Taoran warned everyone again, but on the other hand, if you lose to the opposing team whose physique is not as good as yours, it will definitely be unjustifiable. When the time comes, I will ask for punishment. Sure enough, when he said this, 28 pairs of eyes looked at him. I will ask myself to do a 50-kilometer weight-bearing run and a 1-kilometer frog jump. All 28 pairs of eyes glowed with resentment. After what happened yesterday, they completely believed that this woman could do it. They were all paralyzed last night, and many of them couldn't even eat dinner. That Wang Yi was also crippled on the bed because he was carrying a heavy load. Now just the thought of long-distance weight-bearing running makes their scalps tingle. What the heck, there's also a 1-kilometer leapfrog. Kill them. Are you serious? Mi Hongyu was the first to jump out. Yesterday was definitely the worst day of his life. He definitely doesn't want to copy it again. I can make an oath to you. If I lose this round, I will definitely do what I said to increase the punishment just mentioned. Otherwise, my father will be struck by lightning and die without a burial place. So poisonous. So cruel. Everyone said they had nothing to say. Speechless. At the same time, your names will be on my little book. From now on, whenever I have to choose teammates or opponents, I will only choose you. I will let you enjoy extra penalties every day. And call me sister every day. If you don't want to be bound to me from now on, why not behave well this time? In fact, before Taoran had even finished speaking, the team had already turned a corner. But so far, instead of slowing down, the team has accelerated significantly. Furthermore, no one is left behind. The 28 people were all baring their teeth and rushing forward. Facts have proven that a two-pronged approach of coercion and inducement is absolutely effective. Everyone's idea is very simple. Luke lost this game, but he can still work hard in the next game. But they really don't want to be punished, let alone be bound to this female devil. Brothers, you might as well earn these more than 200,000 star coins and treat squad leader Lu to a drink later. As a result, Taoran's team had the same goal and moved forward at high speed. The mountain is steep and the top is difficult to climb. They thought it would be difficult for Baofu, who was in the weakest physical condition and had no rock climbing experience, but they never expected that her feet seemed to have spiked shoes and springs, and her hands seemed to have suction cups. She was both stable and fast, shocking everyone. She reached the top of the mountain in 3 strokes, 5 divided by 2, and completed her check-in. And the entire team's physical fitness is A and or above, even Mi Hongyu doesn't hold back. In the end, they got back to where they were with an absolute advantage of 2 minutes ahead of Luke's team. Chao Ran won the third game. Instructor Wu didn't know what to say. Luke is definitely not bad, but this losing streak only shows that Baofu is stronger. Isn't it strong? In such a short period of time, it is also a skill for those guys to quickly change their minds and win the competition. The fourth item, fighting. Instructor Wu walked up behind Luke. Your physique is a whole level stronger than Baofu's. Don't lose again. However, when Mi Hongyu heard about the competition items, he walked behind Chao Ran. Do you use comparison for this item? This is the strongest point of this female monster. He couldn't take more than 10 moves from her, and Luke could only take 15 moves at most. Good friend, what else do you want me to do? Mi Hongyu smiled brightly. The instructor's whiteboard is only that long and can be compared to 2 at most. But his good friend has won 4 games in a row. As expected, this guy will be the squad leader. Those who know the current affairs are heroes, and only by choosing a wise master early can they take full advantage. And since Mi Hongyu defected so openly, several people actually stayed on Chao Ran's side. The situation is almost clear. No surprise, no surprise. The fight in the fourth round was Chao Ran's best in the ring. Her nimble skills, ethereal footwork, and a set of attacks that made people unable to guard against them left Luke unable to fight back. Instructor Wu was shocked. He felt that even with an S and physical level, he might not be a match for this female student. The fifth game was about combat knowledge. Chao Ran didn't learn the system yet and gave in immediately. But she still led 4-1. The sixth inning was the most intense, worth 3 points, as teams went head-to-head. It's Luke's last chance to keep his position as squad leader. The competition is about attacking and defending to capture the flag. There is a red flag on the top of the mountain. The attacking team captures the flag and the defending team blocks it. The attacking team captures the hilltop and captures the flag, which is the end of the game. The two teams alternate as attackers, and whichever team takes the shorter time to capture the flag wins. Both sides cannot use weapons, but can use terrain and troops to attack and defend. Factual rules don't matter. The important thing is that as long as the flag is in Chao Ran's hand, the opponent cannot grab it. So even though Chao Ran's team was very scattered this time, even though she was the absolute main force in the team, and even though Luke tried his best, Luke's team ran out of time and couldn't complete the round and win the flag. Chao Ran won the competition with a score of 7-1. She confidently got the position of class monitor. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 642. Chao Ran became the monitor and Luke became her deputy. Instructor Wu Yu was really curious about Chao Ran and went to see Principal Kona again. Kona laughed loudly at this. It only took 1 day for you to be subdued by her. Wasn't this boy clamoring yesterday that if he didn't take her back, he would go on strike? I don't know her as well as you do. Kona admitted to informing. But she is recognized by General Wei as the person who can represent the first military academy to compete for the newcomer king. You should take good care of her. Don't follow the rules for her, give her the greatest support and the most rigorous training. Believe me, I will give you the greatest feedback and surprise. You don't have to ask me about everything, just make up your mind. Wu Yu was shocked. He had been in the military academy for almost 20 years, and this was the first time he saw Kona evaluate a student with a shining expression in his eyes. Moreover, General Wei, the legendary figure of the First Army. Did he identify Baofu? General Wei personally gave her such a high evaluation. Let's put it this way, she was sent in by General Wei. General Wei values her very much. Wu Yu became excited. He originally thought that Baofu, like Mi Hongyu, came in with money. It turns out not to be. He became more and more curious. Going back to the training room, I saw Baofu still leading everyone to do strength training on the equipment. Everyone was asked by her, the 10 people who quit the practice first will be punished with physical training. The squad leader has great power, and it is useless for everyone to be angry. So, although there were both curses and howls, almost everyone persisted. Baofu's physical strength was obviously at its limit. She blushed and bit her lip, but she remained silent. Wu Yu observed secretly for a while. Indeed, this girl was extraordinary. The veins on her forehead and neck are protruding, but she can still carry it, stand up, and hold on. The value displayed on the machine has exceeded the maximum value that her physique can bear. Very good and very gratified. Human breakthroughs in limits are accomplished through self-challenges again and again. Everyone is holding on, Wu Yu said, learn from your squad leader. Her current stress value has exceeded the highest point of her physical fitness value. With her hard work, breaking through the physical fitness level is just around the corner. Hold on. Keep at it. Everyone was crying in their hearts. Let them be treated the same as monsters. It's over, it's over. These 5 instructors were already big demons, and now there is a lunatic who has become the squad leader. The big and small demons are sympathetic to each other, and they have become 2 big mountains weighing on them. Who can bear it? The process was painful, but the results were pretty good. In the end, the values everyone insisted on were very beautiful. No one was asked to practice more because Wu Yu took Tao Ran away. Can I test your physical and mental strength? Can. Wu Yu didn't believe the value given by the school. He didn't believe that a girl with a physique and mental strength would impress both Kona and Wizen so much, even if she knew some ancient martial arts. So he wanted to take her for a test himself. Wu Yu was a cautious person, so he sent everyone away in the testing room and tested Tao Ran himself. The school's instruments are very sophisticated. The values are accurately presented during the stress test. Test physical strength first. A. Wu Yu informed. The values are very stable. He signaled to Tao Ran that it was okay. I'll try again. I want to rush again. Constitution is the hard condition of the body. She didn't want to take advantage of it, there was no point. But A, is really not enough. Good. Tao Ran rested for 2 minutes, took a deep breath, unleashed his explosive power, and pushed up the pressure. The value is already very close to A+. Wu Yu, rush again. Stay calm and have some patience. You don't need to take a breath. Just be steady like climbing a building and then rush up. After 2 minutes of repetition, the machine's red value bar finally stabilized on the A end line. Although it's hard to get over, it's still a get-together. After all, it's a step forward. Congratulations. It's done. But Wu Yu didn't see any joy on Tao Ran's face. It's already strong, Wu Yu comforted. Not enough. Before the Rookie King competition, I want to reach S within a year and a half. I want to reach S+. Not to mention Nai Rong Hai, even Nai Hua's physical fitness value is S. If she cannot reach it, even Nai Hua Du couldn't take care of it. The Rookie King's game is not a small fight like yesterday. The basic strength is not enough and it is impossible to win. This matter cannot be rushed. We have to take it step by step, 1 step at a time in half a year. This is a bit of a fantasy. But 6 months ago, my physical fitness was B+. Now it's A+. There is 1 big step and 3 small steps. Wu Yu was speechless. Just pretend he didn't say it. But he still couldn't help but complain. For a normal person, the physical value of a normal person can reach a big level through hard work, which is amazing, which is only 4 or 5 small levels. But this will take at least 5 to 10 years. The person in front of me is either a genius or a cheat. Damn it, you have to throw it away when comparing goods, and you have to die when comparing people. Wu Yu, test your mental strength. A minute later, Wu Yu couldn't hold back anymore and said something rude. Where's the promised S-dash? Why are you still moving up after crossing that line? Still not stopping after reaching S? It's already past S+. What kind of monster is this? The machine is broken. Do it again. This time, it was even more exaggerated than before. After passing S+, the SS light, which had never been on before, even flashed twice in a row. This means that her mental power is only one step away from SS. How much mental power did Wizen test for you? S+. Oh shit. Old Foxway is hiding the truth. Humming S. How many years has it been since the first military academy had no SS-level geniuses? No, it should be said, how many years has it been since the entire alliance had an SS-level spiritual power user? Even with the advancement of science and technology and biotechnology, the scarcity of top talents cannot be solved by technology. If his mental power reaches SS level, will the Rookie King still be far behind? Will it be difficult for the first military academy to rise? Wu Yu was instantly excited and circled around Taoran several times, then burst into laughter. Let's go. Go play mecha with me. Can't touch mechas only in the second year? I don't have permission. I'll give you permission. What other permissions do you want? Tell me, I'll give it to you. I couldn't get used to the instructor's enthusiasm. If you need a separate training room, I will make the decision for you to apply. You don't have to train and play with those boys in the future. I will give you another configuration. No need. I am the squad leader and they are team members. Only by working together can we become an excellent team. In the military academy competition 10 months later, in addition to the Rookie King, I will also win the best team with them. Have ambition. Very good. Ha ha ha, Wu Yu was happy. What kind of luck did she have to meet such a talented student who is still willing to work hard? If those boys don't listen to you in the future, you will move me out. Don't show mercy to them. Now that there is hope for the competition, Wu Yu also feels that as long as those boys can't practice to death, they should die. Practice. Compete later so as not to be held back. Is there anything missing in your dormitory? If there is, just ask. When you are hungry and greedy in the future, just ask, and I will give you permission if you want a late night snack. You're a girl, and I won't take care of you. What about that? I'll give you a Guangbo account later, and you can add it. She's my girlfriend Xiaofan. If you have any inconvenience, let me know and you need something. If you need help, just ask her. The heroine who wears fast is really a boss. Author, Ruo Shui 1111. Chapter 643. After Wu Yu issued several warrants, Taoran finally arrived at the mecha warehouse. Oh my god. My horizons are opened. In the real world, she has only seen these things in old and American science fiction movies. When she came face to face with a behemoth that looked like an Iron Man suit, she was still shocked beyond words. She had already begun to imagine how cool and powerful she would be after entering the mecha. In the tens of thousands of square meters of mecha warehouses, there are hundreds of mechas of various types parked. The further inside, the bigger and cooler the mecha becomes. She was really curious and pointed at the red mecha that she caught sight of at a glance. It was beautiful, handsome, dazzling, cool, and dazzling. Anyway, she just liked it. It should match her quite well. Can I come on? No authority. Instructor, are you so weak? Taoran looked down upon him. Wu Yu cast a distressed look. It's not that I'm weak, it's you. This is a high-level combat armor. Its own weight plus weapons, camouflage devices, signalers, and other configurations require very high physical fitness. Your physical fitness is reaching S before level 1, there was no need for this kind of heavy armor. I'm afraid she will die of exhaustion. He will be killed by himself. Tao Ran wanted to cry, then you still said you would bring me to play with mechas. I want to see your sync rate. Wu Yu took her into the equipment room. Here is the virtual console. Try this, and you can roughly judge your control over the mecha. In front of the console, there is a silver armor full of connecting cables. Put all the equipment on your body and the synchronization rate test begins. The value of the synchronization rate determines the starting point of each mecha warrior in a certain sense. Synchronize carefully. We will start when you are ready. Click the red button and the test begins. The equipment room was no longer in front of Tao Ran. In her perception, she had begun to slowly merge with the mecha. She amplified her mental power to sense and coordinate, trying to integrate herself with the mecha. Devoting herself wholeheartedly to a role is what she is good at. She was very selfless and completely forgot about herself. Every muscle and every nerve has been completely fused. She completely treated herself as a mecha and felt everything. But what should she do? When she touched her finger, a bunch of purple flames shot out from her finger. Fun. She stamped her feet felt warm, and she flew up to the sky. Oh my god. More fantasy than a fairy tale. Interesting. Ultraman and Sun Wukong are not as flexible as her. With her huge body, she tumbled upright, flipped her body, and Thomas fully rotated, she devoted herself to it, letting the mecha demonstrate the effect of a martial arts drama plus a fantasy drama according to her heart. She was having fun, but she didn't know that at this moment, Wu Yu, who was staring at the huge display screen from an outsider's perspective, couldn't close her mouth. Nah. No wonder those boys want to call her a pervert. He made a video call to Kona and sent the image on the monitor. Kona, who was in a meeting, suddenly laughed and then shared the video with a group of key members of the school. The first military academy's return to its peak is just around the corner. Is this your first time coming into contact with a mecha sensor? How can it be? With this synchronization rate, am I blind or do I have dementia? All the officers were shocked. On the monitor in the video, the progress bar is full, with a huge red color above it, 100%. 100% synchronization rate. Unheard of. The machine is broken? Everyone here has the authority to quickly check the data in the mecha warehouse team and self-check. There is no problem with the machine and equipment. They called up the warehouse monitoring and looked at the dispatch room. They didn't know how many people in the Alliance had ever achieved such a synchronization rate, but this was the first time in the 200 years since the school was founded. Kona, this will be our school's trump card. From today on, the school will do its best to help her. We will see the result in 10 months. Everyone, please look forward to it. Of course, if it is convenient, everyone can help. Tao Ran was forced out of the holographic mecha state by Wu Yu. Taking off the device, she looked back at the video she just watched. Well, she just thought he was handsome, and it was just a trick, but she didn't expect him to be so handsome. She smiled brightly. It's fun and not difficult. Isn't it difficult? Wu Yu felt that every time she talked to her, it hurt her self-esteem. The second grade student with the highest synchronization rate is 92%. The fourth grade student has the best synchronization rate of 95%, which is the best result of our school in the past 10 years. So, you know whether it is difficult or not. This was something Tao Ran didn't expect. Your synchronization rate is so high and your mental power level is extremely high, which means that as long as you can keep up with your physical fitness, you can control any mecha here. Wu Yu looked at the innermost warehouse group, where there was a super. No one has been able to pilot a capable mecha for more than 20 years. A fire lit up in his heart. The strength of the first military academy is heavy armor. This time, someone can finally hold it up. Finally they no longer have to look at people. It feels so good to think about beating those guys in competitions between schools. Come on. You can't control the offensive and defensive mechas yet, so you can only get an auxiliary mecha first. Wu Yu was more anxious than Tao Ran. She almost jogged with him to the auxiliary crew warehouse, and finally selected a small reconnaissance mecha. Go up and try the matching. It was just a simulation. Although the results were good, it was not a practical operation after all. This sentence is absolutely correct. After Tao Ran went to the main control room of the real mecha, he found that the synchronization rate that was 100% before was stuck at 60% during actual operation and could not be improved. Wu Yu patiently guided her. Instead of using a controller or keyboard to control the game, try to capture the feeling when you just simulated it. The mecha will directly capture your neural signals, adapt to and integrate with the mecha, get familiar with it first, and then use your mental power to cover and sense it. Every part of the mecha needs to be calculated and controlled, how each movement needs to be coordinated and how to operate it. The more advanced the mecha, the more detailed its functions, the more complex the control system, and the higher the requirements for mental power level, so that it can exert its maximum function in actual combat. Wu Yu was really looking forward to the students' results. 10 minutes later, Tao Ran was able to control the mecha to perform simple movements. 15 minutes later, the mecha was able to walk and run on the runway. 20 minutes later, Tao Ran jumped and rolled with the mecha. The mecha landed beautifully and made a winking and hooking gesture towards Wu Yu. Wu Yu's heart fell completely. Being able to control a big guy to make such lifelike little moves is a true genius. The data from the mecha's main control room was also transmitted, and it was still 100%. Wu Yu wanted to cry. He hadn't been this out of control in years. You play first. I'll go find the principal for a drink, have a drink. He couldn't contain his excitement and needed to calm down. From that day on, Tao Ran received key training and support from the school. All the permissions available at the first military academy were granted to her. Wu Yu patted her on the shoulder and gave her a meal, and the principal looked kindly at her. The senior instructors who passed by also never forgot to follow her instructions and taught her attentively, answering questions and solving doubts. Under such high pressure, all the students in the class had their newly hatched plan to help Luxi's power immediately disappear, and no one dared to mention it.